The first thing you notice isn't the darkness, it's the silence. We are so used to the background hum of civilization, the refrigerator compressor, the distant drone of traffic, the buzz of streetlights, the notification pings in our pockets, that when it all stops, instantly, it feels like the air has been sucked out of the room. I remember standing in my kitchen when it happened. No explosion, no siren, just a sudden, violent stop. My phone didn't just lose signal. The screen went black and refused to wake up. My car in the driveway wasn't just out of gas. The starter solenoid was fused dead. That was the moment the grid died. And that was the moment I realized that 90% of what I had prepared for survival was dead weight. You see, pop culture has lied to you. You've been trained to think an EMP survival scenario is about hoarding thousands of rounds of ammunition, wearing tactical vests, and running into the woods to fight off zombies. But I'm telling you, having lived through the simulations and studied the breakdown of supply chains for 20 years, the things that actually keep you alive are boring, unsexy, and absolutely critical. If the lights go out tomorrow and don't come back on, most of you will die from dysentery, dehydration, or hypothermia long before a looter ever kicks down your door. I'm going to walk you through the 5 items that actually matter when the electrons stop flowing. These aren't toys. These are the life support systems of a collapsed world. Item number 1, the gravity-fed water filtration system. Notice I didn't say life straw, and I didn't say boiling water. Listen to me. In a grid-down scenario, you cannot expend valuable calories and fuel boiling water for every single drink. You will run out of propane, you will run out of wood, and you will get tired. And those little hiking straws, they are useless for a family. You cannot suck enough water through a straw to cook rice, wash a wound, or hydrate a child. You need a high-volume, gravity-fed system, something that can process 2 to 3 gallons an hour while you do other work. Here is the science. Raw water from a river or rain barrel is loaded with protozoa like Cryptosporidium and bacteria like E. coli. When the sewage treatment plants fail, and they will fail within 48 hours, local water sources will become a toxic soup. You need a filter with a pore size of 0.1 microns or smaller. But here is the secret nobody tells you. You need a pre-filter. A simple bandana or coffee filter to catch the mud and grit before it hits your expensive ceramic filter. If you clog your main filter on day 3, you are dead on day 10. I keep a Berkey-style system or a Sawyer squeeze rigged to a hanging bucket. It works while I sleep. It provides the one thing you cannot scavenge: clean, safe hydration. Item number 2, the Faraday-shielded digital brain. This is controversial, but listen. When an EMP hits, the internet is gone. Google is gone. YouTube is gone. All of human knowledge accessible in your pocket vanishes. You don't realize how much you rely on the cloud until you need to know how to treat an infected molar, how to wire a solar panel, or which local plants are edible. My survival kit includes an old, cheap tablet and a solid-state hard drive, loaded with offline Wikipedia, medical encyclopedias, topographic maps of my entire state, and repair manuals for everything I own. This device lives inside a Faraday bag, a military-grade pouch woven with conductive metals that blocks electromagnetic pulses. Why does this matter? Because in a collapse, knowledge is the most valuable currency. If you know how to stitch a wound or purify water using bleach ratios, you become an asset to your neighbors rather than a target. You become the village elder. I also keep a small 5-watt solar charger in that same shielded bag. The sun will still shine, and while everyone else is guessing, I'll be reading. Item number 3. Hygiene and sanitation management. This is the part everyone skips because it's gross. But this is the killer. In historical sieges and blackouts, disease kills far more people than bullets. When the toilets stop flushing, your home becomes a biohazard zone within a week. The item you need is a supply of heavy-duty contractor bags and a stash of pool shock, calcium hypochlorite. Here is the brutal reality. You need to dig a latrine or manage waste in a bucket system. You cannot simply go outside if you live in the suburbs. That soil will become contaminated and infect your garden. You line a bucket with a heavy bag, do your business, and cover it with organic matter like sawdust or leaves. But the pool shock? That's your sterilization. A single pound of granular pool shock can treat thousands of gallons of water for cleaning surfaces and sterilizing waste buckets. It doesn't have the shelf life issues of liquid bleach. It's solid chemistry. If you don't have a plan for where the poop goes, you are planning to die of cholera. It is that simple. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. But ask anyone who has lived in a conflict zone. Hygiene is defense. Item number 4. A low-tech communication receiver. The isolation of an EMP is psychological torture. Not knowing if the blackout is just your town, the whole country, or the whole world is terrifying. It drives people to panic and make rash decisions. You need a battery-operated AM/FM/shortwave radio. But not just any radio, one that has been sitting in a Faraday cage or is simple enough to survive the pulse. Tubes often survive better than solid state, but shielding is safer. Information is tactical advantage. If you can pick up a military broadcast or a ham radio operator 3 states over, you know what's coming. You know if aid is on the way or if you are on your own. It also breaks the deafening silence. Hearing a human voice, even through static, can be the difference between maintaining your sanity and cracking under the pressure. I recommend a simple Texan or CountyCom radio. Small, efficient, and invaluable. Item number 5. The soft asset. High-proof alcohol. You might think, I don't drink, I don't need this. You're wrong. In a post-collapse economy, paper money is trash. Crypto is non-existent. Gold is too valuable to trade for a dozen eggs. You need small, divisible, consumable trade goods. High-proof vodka or whiskey is the ultimate multi-tool. 1. It is a disinfectant for medical equipment and wounds when you run out of betadine. 2. It is a fuel. You can make a stove from a soda can and burn alcohol to boil water. 3. It is a painkiller and a sedative in a world without hospitals. 4. It is the best barter item in existence. It dulls the misery of the new world. People will trade food, ammunition, and labor for a pint of whiskey. I stock cheap, plastic-handled vodka bottles. They don't break as easily, and the liquid inside is worth more than its weight in silver when the liquor stores have been looted dry. The reality check. Look, the most dangerous thing in a blackout isn't the dark. It's the illusion that things will go back to normal in 3 days. The items I listed, water filtration, the digital brain, sanitation, comms, and barter goods, they accept the reality that the normal is gone. Most people prepare for a camping trip. They buy a tent and some MREs. You need to prepare for a new life. The EMP is the great equalizer. It deletes the technological advantage of the modern world and resets us to the 1800s instantly. If you have these 5 items, you aren't just surviving. You are operating with a plan. You have water, knowledge, health, intelligence, and currency. Don't wait until the screen goes black to figure this out. The silence is coming. The question is, will you be ready to fill it?